Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of my YouTube channel. My name is Jake Fryman. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Community Partners here in Dayton, Ohio. Each week on this channel, I provide a little bit of insight into the real estate market and the real estate world, and I offer some helpful tips and advice to folks who are thinking of buying or selling. So on this week's episode, I wanted to talk about cash offers and cash purchases and explain what those are. You may have heard about this on social media or someone else who's been involved in a real estate transaction where they talk about, oh, we had a cash offer on this house, and they really were excited about that. Why is that? So a cash purchase, it's really simple. You take money from your bank account and you pay for a house that way. You wire it to the title company and they take care of it. It's a very fast process, very easy process. And that's why so many sellers like to have a cash offer. You might have heard cash is king, and well, that's why, because it's a lot simpler. The majority of home purchases are going to be through a loan, right? Like a conventional loan or VA, FHA, whatever have you. Those will be the majority of your purchases because people don't have enough money in the bank right now to do a purchase, right? Because a house can be very expensive and most people don't have that kind of cash saved up. But if you do, if you've somehow built up that much money in your bank account, you can bypass the entire loan process and buy a home with just the money in your bank. And the reason that people go for that is because it goes a lot faster that way. You know, with a VA or FHA loan, there's a lot of requirements that are tied to those loans before you can close on the house. A lot of accommodations have to be made. They're reasonable and they're usually not a big deal, but if you can avoid that altogether with a cash offer, why wouldn't you, right? And so that's why sellers typically go for cash offers, and honestly, sometimes they'll even take less money on a cash offer than on a conventional loan offer or another loan offer because they have that guaranteed cash in hand. Typically, if you're going to make a cash offer, all you have to do is go to the bank and get a verification of deposit, a bank statement, just something showing that you have the money on hand to make the purchase. Actually, it's just a little bit of proof to show the buyer that to show the seller that you're legit and you can actually go through with the transaction. And assuming you can do that, then yeah, it's a very easy process. A great thing too about this is that you bypass appraisals. Every loan has to have an appraisal done with it so the lender can guarantee their money and make sure that they're not paying more than what the house is worth to the buyer. But on a cash deal, you can pay whatever you want to. And during the height of this housing market, over this past year, there were cash buyers in some markets who were paying way over asking price and probably way over appraisal price, but since they had the cash on hand, they could get away with doing that. And then, you know, I mean, the downside of that, if you're the buyer, is that now you're buying a house with less equity in it than, or maybe even negative equity versus what it's actually worth. Now that might come back to you in time if you stay there long enough or whatever you do with the house, but starting out, you are in the hole with your equity on the house. So, I mean, this may not be the best move. It just depends on how much more you're paying and what other factors are involved with that. That's why you want to consult with a realtor before you move ahead with something like that. So that's the cash offer. It's just another way to purchase a house, and it definitely has its pros to it, some negatives as well, but it's very beneficial to both sides if you can do it because it's a lot faster and a lot easier. I hope this was helpful. Hope you learned something this week. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.